Hello again. We meet again on topic 6. We are going to look at motivation in language learning and teaching. This is part 1 of the motivation series. We'll be doing part 2 in the next topic. Now let's look at the learning outcomes. In this session, we will explore what motivation is and how it has been theorized with an emphasis on work from an SLA tradition, and also consider the extent to which these theorizations can inform practice. Moving on to the content that we will be covering in part 1 of motivation. Now, so there are a number of theorizations we'll be looking at, specifically focusing on motivation, and perhaps the earliest that we know of motivation theories would be Gardner's 1985 social educational model. And this model, we know, focuses on intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Next comes Williams and Burden's framework that was introduced in 1997, and the focus is on internal and external factors. And that led to theorizing motivational strategies for teachers. And following that, the big guru, Donye, comes into the picture in 2005 in one of his earlier work on process view of motivation. Now, in this particular view of motivation, he looks at motivation is theorized at three levels: at the language level, at the learner level, and at the learning situation level. Right? Moving on, which is still part of the content that we will be covering in part 1 of motivations. Part 1 of motivation will be on, we will be looking at, obviously, the implications for teaching. So why is it important to look at motivation and implication for teaching? Because there are a number of key areas that a language teacher needs to consider. For example, who is responsible for learners' motivation? The learners themselves? The teacher? Or someone or something else? To what extent can the teacher arouse and maintain learners' motivation? How do you motivate your learners to learn? So these are among some key questions, and these are the implications teachers have to bear in mind. And that will lead on to the remaining part of the unit. Will be looking at possible topics for assignment. This is one of the most popular topics, and among some of the questions that we need to consider would be, why is motivation such an important area of SLA theorization and empirical research? So one of the possible ways for us to address this assignment is to think about a specific aspect of motivation and a specific group of learners. So it can be learners at the primary level, at high school level, or at higher education level. Identifying the learners is important, but also which aspect of motivation are we looking at? An important area that has gained quite a bit of attention of late is on student engagement. You may wish to watch this video about student engagement, where Zoltan Donye talks about the importance of fostering student engagement. And this video is available here. As you can see in this particular slide, Zoltan Donye was invited to give a talk to Cambridge University Press, and you can watch this video as a whole. It's about 30 over minutes, so you are encouraged to watch the whole thing, take notes, and more importantly, ask questions, and we'll be able to talk about some of the points that Zoltan Donye touched on in this particular video on student engagement. And I've touched on this earlier, the topics for this assignment, so I shall give this a big skip, and we move on to the end, and that's about the end of this particular topic. Bear in mind, this is just part 1. Part 2 of motivation will be in the next topic. So, thank you. See you again.